The opinion section of the Boston Globe has become front page news. The Globe published a satirical front page dated April 9th, 2017. It's supposed to give Americans a glimpse of what the world would look like if Donald Trump were to win the presidency. The lead story is the beginning of mass deportations, followed by news of a market crash sparked by a trade war with China, among others. The fake front page has a companion opinion piece entitled "The GOP Must Stop Trump." Kathleen Kingsbury is the opinion page's deputy managing editor. She joins us now from Boston to discuss the controversial front page. Kathleen, thank you for being with us, first of all. And then I want to get into asking you, this isn't the first time a newspaper editorial board has run something on the front page, but this is a pretty strong stance here. Why did you go this route?
This is really an exercise in taking Donald Trump at his word. We've been listening to his speeches and reading his policy positions and talking about who his advisors are for a long time. But we really wanted to lay out in black and white for the American people what his vision for America looks like, because he hasn't really filled in those details for us so far.
I'm curious, how did you come up with the stories for your fake front page? And were there any sort of guidelines set up going into this, or what was the conversation like?
Sure. So this was an act of political satire, I should say first. Every story, however, is based in fact. In fact, we have used Donald Trump's quotes from Twitter and his speeches throughout the section. In terms of guidelines, we just wanted to make sure that we were giving people a fair but accurate view of what Trump wants for America.
Now, I do want to point out here, Donald Trump won the Massachusetts primary. You've gotten a lot of negative comments on your Facebook page, mostly Trump supporters, but some essentially accusing the paper of stooping to what they call Trump's level. Was there any pushback from the staff at all about doing this?
So the Boston Globe, like newsrooms across the country, newspapers across the country, have a very separate editorial page from its newsroom. And that's something that it's had for generations. And so this was really a separate project from our everyday newsroom. But our goal here was to start a conversation. And I think we've done just that. And so we're very pleased.
I want to ask you, though, there's been the argument it was still the front page, and editorials are usually full of facts. They're not usually fake.
Sure. It was actually the section front of the Ideas section on Sunday, which I edit. The front page was our normal Sunday Boston Globe front page full of news with a small tease. We also wanted to make sure that the fake front page, it was very clear to readers, so we included an editor's note at the bottom to give people the context. But really, this is about the editorial, and let's go back to what it says, which is that we want the GOP to pause and reflect and consider, is the vision that Donald Trump is laying out for America one that it shares? Is it the direction that it wants its party to move forward in?
Well, I want to ask you then, what specifically about Trump's campaign has made the paper take this very strong stance?
Donald Trump, over the last few months, has created a political movement that's rooted in violent intimidation, hostility to criticism, and blatant scapegoating of minorities. This is a very disturbing view of the United States to the Boston Globe editorial board, one that we really think that people need to consider as they're going into the voting booths, and one that we really think discredits the GOP party if it embraces it.
Within it, the Globe then talks about endorsing Mitt Romney or Paul Ryan instead, but the Globe didn't endorse either of them in 2012.
So we have actually endorsed John Kasich in this election, and we stand by that endorsement. But we just don't think John Kasich is going to make it to the end of this. So we hope that the natural leaders of the party step forward.
Okay, one last question for you, Kathleen, before we go. A majority of Americans, when you read things and you see the polls that are coming out day after day, they have a negative opinion, really, about Donald Trump. Does the editorial page, when you guys are in discussion, do you think that Trump will win the general election if he is the Republican nominee? And is that why you went this route?
I think we have a long time to go before November, and we hope that the GOP is asking itself tough questions as it goes into its convention this summer. Is the vision for Donald Trump that Donald Trump lays out what it wants for the United States? Are they willing to settle for a candidate almost as equally as extreme as Ted Cruz? We hope that it figures out a way to restore some honor to American politics.
All right, Kathleen Kingsbury, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.